All right, more water work today. So I'm going to try to describe what's going on here. This is my original setup. It works good for getting water to the top of the hill. The only problem is, only valve I installed on this side of the pump is this hose here, which works good, but this hose has a whole bunch of water pressure in it because that goes all the way up the hill to the pump. And so all that water that's in the hose wants to come back out here. So if I take this off, without running the pump at all, if I open this valve, I've got a whole bunch of water pressure down here. And if I left this open, it would drain my whole tank because the hose up at the top is in the bottom of the tank. So I went and bought a whole bunch of parts to get this. This is going to screw in right here, and then the one that's screwed in there will go there, and that gives me a shutoff valve so I can shut this off. So that's good. The only problem, and what I'm afraid of, is as soon as I unscrew this, I'm going to drain all the water on me unless I go to the top of the hill, take the pipe out, and then I'll just drain the water that's in the pipe. I would like to be able to crimp this hose somehow to stop that, but I can't. So that was one thing. And then while we were at the parts section buying pipes, we also made this. The garden hose that goes from the top of the hill is starting to crimp, so I went and bought another 1-inch poly to bring water down the hill. Lugged that sucker all the way up, and now it comes, thought in advance, it comes with a valve here that I can shut off and shut on, and then it has 2 garden hose spigots on that. So this should get me a lot more pressure to both garden hose spigots, so that's good. I have some filters that I was going to install up here, but I'm going to end up installing those in here so that I can turn the water on and off and replace the filters. But I got the wrong pieces. Instead of the female couplers, I got the male couplers, and so I have to go back to town. And it's an hour drive away, one way. So today I'm just getting water pressure here, and if you look, I'm going to turn this on here. Maybe. Look how much water pressure we got. That's like 10 feet away. We're shooting water. But in order to prime that, I came down here and I put this pipe on here, opened up the valves, and I was sucking as hard as I could on one of these valves that I opened. And I couldn't suck hard enough. So what I did was I came down here. I know this one has pressure, so I hooked up a hose into that, opened up this one, and it forced the water that was in this hose, which is going up to the tank, forced it up this hose, up my newly installed hose, and got a bunch of water in that hose. And then I just turned off this valve so that, because once the pressure equalized, it was probably halfway up the hill on my new hose. I turned this one off so the water couldn't come out, turned that one on, and it started the prime and the siphon. So now I've got water pressure here. More work to do with the filters and stuff, but a lot of progress today. I guess we'll walk over and show the filters that I am going to install. So these are my filters that I'm going to install in line. We've got the first one that's going to go through is 1,000 microns. That captures all the big stuff. You see how big the filter is. Then it's going to go to 200 microns, which will catch smaller stuff. And the third one is 50 microns, which the camera's hard to focus, but it captures a lot of small stuff. The good thing about these filters is they're rinsable. So sediment catches up in here in the glass tubes, and then when you see the sediment coming up clogging the filter, you just come and open this drain valve and the water will flush out the sediment. So gonna install all those in series, and that will get me 1000 microns down to 200, down to 50, and that's pretty almost drinking water. I have another one that goes down to 5 microns that I'll install prior to the RV filter, which just basically works for smells and tastes and stuff like that. I don't even know how many microns this is, but that will be before it goes into the RV. And then the last thing that I got, I meant to do this today too, but same problem with the female coupler. I got the male couplers by mistake instead of the female. These were supposed to be female to connect these in series. But the same thing here is I needed another female one. So this is going to go on the other side of the pump, so that before it even goes to the holding tank, it will get filtered out some. So that's it for this sunny day. It's nice and shady under these trees, which is nice. But I guess next time I go into town, I can work on it some more. Last thing to show is this morning I went through the Amazon packages and I got the propane water heater, and I got that working this morning with the hose water, some propane, and I had my first hot shower in over a week, so that was awesome. So another productive thing done today. But all right, that's about it.